When you look at Transformers: Age of Extinction, it's easy to assume director Michael Bay would just end up repeating the enormous blunders he made in Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon. What he manages to manufacture instead is, to some degree, a definite improvement over the disastrous sequels before it, something more or less on a par with the first Transformers. In a world where humanity now distrusts the Transformers, a struggling inventor and single father discovers the hiding Autobot leader Optimus Prime, which brings down a paranoid government official, the remaining Autobots, and a mysterious intergalactic mercenary on him and his daughter. Departed are the human cast regulars from the previous episodes, replaced by a considerably less annoying set of faces. Also, the crude humor has noticeably died down, and the obnoxiousness factor seems to have learned to exercise a little self-control. Mark Wahlberg does a fairly good job in his portrayal of the overprotective lead. The same applies to Kelsey Grammer, who plays a paranoid agent. With a darker atmosphere, new molecular CG effects, and an increased level of vulnerability, it quickly becomes evident that Michael Bay has made some effort to learn from his mistakes.
Mr. Yeager, who do you think I work for? You're trying to protect your family. That's admirable. I'm trying to defend the nation from alien war. We've had a taste of what that looks like, and we are not going to tolerate another. Now, there is a version of this conversation where you get to go back to your barn. Your daughter gets to graduate with honors, and life as you know it will go on. You have no idea what you're involved with here.
Really? What's the other version of this conversation? The one you sent in the hired help to murder my little girl? Or are you gonna man up and do it yourself?
What's your preference?
Regardless of these changes for the better, there are some things about the Transformers franchise that just don't change, as if we can expect them to ever change. Characterization continues to range from functional to nil. Even the slightly more interesting humans are as simplistic as they're ever going to get. And while the robot mercenary Lockdown makes for a formidable villain, there's not much to say about Bumblebee and the other Autobots. Amidst the over-the-top mayhem that takes place in Texas, Chicago, and ultimately Hong Kong, the story overextends its grasp, wanting to cover more material than it can process.
Covered!
Are you working with lasers? If so, I'm not coming in.
You guys have never seen a truck like this before. Get in here. Lock that door.
It doesn't have a lock.
Look at the hole in the radiator. Look at the size of it. Something blew a hole in it.
Yeah, so?
It's not normal steel. The shrapnel in the engine, it ripped all the connections apart. Then watch, and this took some K-genius. You are gonna love this. Want to hook this back to a working battery?
Calling all 101.
Oh yeah. I don't think it's a truck at all. I think we just found a transformer.
On a final note, the much advertised Dinobots were a bit of a letdown, as they appeared only for a short period of time. As exciting as it was to see these prehistoric titans do battle with their enemies, they turned out to be rather unnecessary. Their presence didn't really add anything to the film. Despite having rust in the usual places, Transformers: Age of Extinction attains the "it's alright to enjoy mindless fun once in a while" core that made its franchise starter a crowd-pleasing guilty pleasure. This is Noah Lee with the Coast News, signing off.